As the husband of 10 years, right? I actually do know who I married, and since I paid for her to go to school, right, I'm going to want the signatures of everything that she has signed since she graduated from high school. Well, now, let's say you're in the judiciary and you just don't want to enforce the laws. I happen to want custody of my sons, and I'm not going to motion a court, right, that allows the petitioner, right, to have emergency court hearings whenever the fuck she wants. That happens to be an abuse of the judicial system, yes. And your refusal to enforce the laws. Triple damages today. Now, when you go through these documents known as the application to higher education, yeah, give me all the signed FAFSA forms and all the necessary documentation, yes. And then do that for every oath, badge, and attorney, yes. Mandatory reporters, and those that are legally liable for the enforcement of the laws of the United States. Now, you gave custody of my sons to a woman that happens to be a fraud. Yes, because I did pay the sheriffs to serve her. Yes. And for you to allow her to use the judicial system without me receiving notice when you do know I did respond, I just want to know the actual time that you put that response on the Superior Court case summary. Now, it seems to me, right, that somebody else does know about the Washington State Court's website. Yes. So why don't you get me the time and date of every entry into this state's court's website, where any individual that could have been named as a party, right, would be expecting to get the actual proof of service from law enforcement or private soft service processor? Yes. Because you put the response on the actual court website before serving the person. Now, you probably thought I was the only person that did know this, but this whole concept of serving somebody, yes, yes, yes. Sheriff's return of service, response to petition, yeah. Why don't we just do a little search of each and every state court website for the word petition or response? Yes. Mm. And then we'll find out exactly who gets paid to serve the other party, the adverse party. Yes. And then we'll find out what the individual does know before receiving the actual return of service, the actual proof of service. It's very deceptive. Yes, it is. For any court to think that the petitioner didn't know about the Superior Court case summary is from 2012. Now, since I documented from 2011 when I was on Guam, yeah, that I did have knowledge of the state court's website, chill. Why don't we just go ahead and look for petition and response? And then every court hearing that happened before the sheriff's return of service, yes, because if there was a court hearing directly after the response, yes, as in the same day or the next day, yes, yes, I could have an abundance of lawsuits. Now you're saying as a county, no, we're the only ones that do this. Yeah, talk to you for just a second. I will sue for the fraud, yes, of any party fraudulently using the judicial system, thinking that they would enrich themselves at the expense of the adverse party. Now you say as a citizen you can't, but I can. I know it sounds like being an ambulance chaser, but here, let's look at it a little different. Let's say you're in the sheriff's department. Okay. You're there, you're in the jail, you got nothing to do, you're watching videos, right? And somebody wants to pay for bail. Yeah. As in, you do know that they were not required, but they had the opportunity to appear in court as the adverse party, known as the respondent. And you thought, well, why don't I just walk up there and see if the person's there, just see if they're there or not. Yeah. They might not know they have a warrant for their arrest. And of course, you got paid to serve the person, and you decided, no, we'll let them walk out without arresting them and without serving them. So we can go to their place of residence and then we'll serve them and arrest them there because it's a lot safer to do it that way. Let's say you decided to enforce the laws of the United States. Yes. Individual gets arrested, booked in. Yes. Why don't you get me all the ATMs and debit and credit card terminals in every jail of the United States? Yes. They thought, well, I'll just whip out my credit card and pay $2,000 bail as a cash advance on my personal credit card. I'd like to know the actual debit and credit cards that have been used in every jail, yes, in every courthouse, yes, to pay any of the actual fees or bail, yes, to get in or out of jail. Now, I know how many credit card companies love having a client, yes, that uses their credit card to cash advance, ooh, the bail, as if it was kind of a credit negative to have clients that go to jail. I know. You're the debit card. Yes. The personal bank. So, and you're thought of, well, my golly, somebody just pulled out of their checking account a $2,000 bail. Why don't you get me the actual jails, the actual sheriff's departments? In fact, any place that you can pay a fee, a fine, or a cost in any courthouse of the United States of America. And then for every time that a bank or a credit card company found out that one of their customers was in jail, does that cause them some concern about the actual relationship, the know your customer relationship? Do you ever want to just kind of ask them, well, I could see that you were in jail this last weekend. You used your debit card to pay bail. I know you're a bank. You don't care how people spend their